What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonia Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How was your day?
How was your week?
How was your life?
Going. And make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Like we've said before, the best thing that you guys could do is share this with somebody else. Let them know that the podcast exists. Let them know that it's out there. Watch them subscribe to the podcast right there on the spot. Send them a clip, like, comment, thumbs up, hit the notification bell, bling, bling, all of that stuff.
Yes.
What's up, babe?
Exhausted.
And we're back. Yeah, you've been off to 2 days of events and conferences and that type of.
Just getting up early and waking up in the middle of the night and being in thought and processing the night or the day of. It's just been, it's good though. And then you were gone all last week, so playing mommy and daddy while you're gone, and it's tiring.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been away for all of last week. I was away for work. I went to California. And you were home with the kids.
Yeah. Joey was we spent a lot of time together. He slept with me the entire time that you were gone. And he's into this show called Young Sheldon. And I actually like it.
It's about this little genius kid, right?
And I enjoy watching that show with him. And there's so many good lessons in that show as well. Like for us parents as well as for the kids. Even marriage, like regarding marriage, like communicating and just all of that. So if you guys haven't heard of it, take a look at it.
Yeah.
Today during my event, they had 3 different couples talking about parenting. And
did you learn some stuff?
And especially with Joey, and Joey's at times very hard on himself. And today they were talking about teaching our kids to have self-compassion and forgiveness for themselves.
Yeah.
So when they make a mistake, or when they do something incorrectly, and Joey a lot of times is very hard on himself.
Yeah.
And so us leading by example, when we do make a mistake, sharing that with the kids. Like, today I went and did this, and this is what I thought was going to happen, but instead this happened. And so, man, I messed up.
Which we've been pretty good with that, right?
But also saying, but it's okay. Like, I forgive myself. Like, adding that part to it, like having self-compassion for ourselves versus, like when you're on the computer, when you're doing something and you make a mistake and,
you stupid mother.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Because if we're leading by example, they're witnessing and listening to how we deal with our failures.
Yeah. So if you don't do that, or your kids don't do that naturally, then how do you get them to do that?
By leading by example, or when they are being hard on themselves, talking about we all make mistakes.
It's funny that you said that, because I was thinking about that earlier today while you were at your event.
What brought that up for you?
I don't remember. I don't remember exactly what it was. Maybe it was during my workout today. Because that is one thing that, I am pretty hard. I have been pretty hard on myself. Like when I've gotten out of shape, and, like I told you, most of my life, I've been in pretty good shape. And I've had times where, I just kind of let myself go or whatever. And when I do, the talk's not nice. Like, it's not nice when I'm standing in front of the mirror.
Right.
It's like, you fat piece of shit. Look at what you fucking did. Things like that. But I was thinking about like, how do you change that today?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, how do you go from talking to yourself that way to like, look at you, like you're doing great, or whatever.
It's awareness.
For me, you got to fucking do something about it. You got to get on a roll, because if not, you're just lying to yourself. You know, so yes, you can use that as, like, I use it as motivation. It's like, you fat piece of shit. And then when I'm down doing push-ups and I'm tired and I don't want to do anymore, it's like, come on, you fat fuck, keep going. And eventually it's like, you're like, dude, look at the shit that you've done. Like, look at what you've accomplished. Look at where you were. Look at where you are now. Like, you're kicking ass. The talk changes when you actually do something about it. And like with Joey, I think we've had this conversation in the past where he's very hard on himself. But it's also like, we're not always disciplined to keep him disciplined. Because when you keep him disciplined and he starts making progress, the talk starts changing too. Like, how has he been? You know, I know in the past he hasn't been very confident with school. And he's thought in the past like that he's dumb. Right? And everybody has thought that about themselves, especially when it comes to school or whatever. I think it's just part of life. But it's been a little while now that he's been reading consistently.
Right.
He's been focused on his work. He doesn't feel the same way today that he felt about himself last year. Right? But what it took to change that was work.
Right. Well, that's why you need a balance. Like, you have to do. But when you make a mistake, it's having compassion for yourself, or being
it's kind of
kind to yourself. Like, man, I messed up. Like, take responsibility.
Or maybe it's like, keep pushing, you fat fuck. And then when you're done, you're like, great job. You like, you did it. You know? I'm telling you, like, I think, like, sometimes, like, it doesn't sound nice. Everything is not always nice. There's a lot of things, and we had maybe this is a different thing. But there's these things, they come from they come from the same place. It's kind of like love. And like, there's a dark side to it, where you would do things because of love that could be pretty dark. But they come from love. They come from love for your family, love for your people, love for your country, love for, you know, whatever. May not be nice things, but they come from love. Do you know what I mean? And I think maybe, I don't know if that's exactly the same, but it's like it comes from a similar place.
And people are different, because the more you talk bad to yourself and you don't have compassion and you don't have forgiveness, then you start to go down a very dark path. People that commit suicide, they don't have that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or people that have depression, or that are, you know, stuck in that space. If they learned at a young age to have compassion and love for themselves and to forgive themselves when they mess up, I don't think you would ever get that far.
What, like to commit suicide or something?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, it's like we all go through different situations and different.
Yeah, everybody's
but
different.
You're different.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. So it's hard to say. Like, what your self-talk may motivate you. But if someone else were to talk to themselves that way, they may not ever get back up, because it's one after another, like a negative comment.
Yeah. I was watching a video today with David Goggins, and there was a guy that was 26 years old, and he was asking David Goggins a question about, he was like, my life isn't going anywhere. And he's just not doing anything. He's not disciplined. When he started, he's like, he's like, hi, David, I'm a 26-year-old kid, and my life is a mess. I'm not disciplined, and I want to know, like, the first thing he said, I'm a 26-year-old kid.
He said kid?
Yes. It's like, you are not a 26-year-old kid.
Right.
You are a man.
Right.
And like there is nothing that he is going to tell you that is going to help you find that discipline. There is nothing that anybody can tell you. You have to find that within yourself. How many times motivational speeches are a dime a dozen. Fucking look them up on YouTube. We've done them on this podcast. That shit's not going to help you unless you get fucking sick and tired of this shit and decide you're going to do something different.
And then you do something, and then you're doing something, and then you make a mistake.
That's the discipline part.
But that's what I think we're just not on. Yeah. So what I'm saying is when you're doing, like say I had my first retreat, it didn't turn out the way, there were mistakes that happened, things that didn't turn out the way they were supposed to turn out, but I was doing, but things didn't unfold the way I envisioned them.
Right.
Having that forgiveness for self, like, man, I couldn't, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like when you're just not doing anything.
Right.
And you're feeling down on yourself. No, you need that you need to look in the mirror and have that honest conversation with yourself. I'm broke. I'm in debt. I keep doing this thing over and over and over again. Like, no, you need to face reality and see what it is that you keep doing that got you in this mess in the first place and continues to keep you in this mess because you keep doing the thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you're trying, but you fail. And it's having that compassion, like I was doing and didn't turn out the way. It's okay. Like, I got this. I'm going to continue to push forward because I know that if I keep doing it, I'm going to be, I'm going to succeed. But that's what I'm talking about.
I think there is a motivation in the negative talk sometimes.
Yeah.
At least for me and for a lot of people.
Yes.
There is motivation in the negative talk. And you're right. Like, it can't just be the negative talk. Like, this reminds me of a tournament that I did a couple years ago at this point, a year and a half ago, where I'm sure you remember, the kids remember, at the end of the tournament, I was not happy. My self-talk was not good because I know and I have standards for myself, expectations for myself. Like I could have went in and got the same result and I could have felt differently, but I knew I had let myself down.
Yes.
The self-talk was not good, but at the end of it, it was like, at least I went out there. Like maybe I wasn't prepared the way I should have been.
Right.
But this is something that scares people. That people do not want to do. They don't want to fight somebody else. They don't even step out on the mat to try.
Right.
And I tried.
Right.
So no, I'm not satisfied. But at least I tried. But using the negative motivation to push me for the next one. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it all depends on what motivates you. I think it's taking the time to understand you and get to know you and know what's going to motivate you to do the thing that you need to do.
It's kind of like Aaron Rodgers. There was something that happened to Aaron Rodgers, the old Green Bay Packers quarterback, now the Jets quarterback. But damn it. I mean, we got a pretty good quarterback now. But anyway, that's besides the point. When he got drafted, he was supposed to get drafted within like the first 5 players overall. Like in that draft of that year, like when you're picked number 1, you are the hottest player coming out of college and you are expected to do huge things. Mm-hmm. And he was top 5 or something like that. He was supposed to go top 5. He ended up dropping and dropping and dropping. He didn't even go in the first round. I think he went at the beginning of the second round. Like he had dropped so far. And a lot of people say that it was because of that made him so good. Because he always had this fucking chip on his shoulder. Like, you guys didn't take me like fucking top 5? Watch. And that was the motivation. I don't know if that's true or not, but you see that a lot, you know?
Yeah.
But I still think like in a lot of ways, like with Joey, his confidence has improved over these last 6 months, over the last 8 months, you know, quite a bit, because like the focus, the discipline of continuing to do things over and over again.
Yeah, like he's winning, like he's having wins.
But you have to lose.
Right.
You don't just start doing your math homework.
And
you
the way
get
you lose,
frustrated.
And the way you lose is by playing.
Right.
But some people just don't put themselves out there to play.
Yeah, I think it's okay to have the negative self-talk as long as you have positive self-talk afterwards, you know, and as long as you can use that for motivation. But if all you're doing is negative self-talk, then yes, you're going to go down a freaking rabbit hole and you're going to be depressed.
Yeah.
You know,
like you have to be honest with yourself.
And that's the thing, is that my negative self-talk is true. I don't bullshit myself, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah.
But a lot of people do. Anyway. I don't know if that's exactly what you were planning on talking about. What you got, yo? You going through your notes?
Oh, there was something that I wanted to talk to you about. Let me see if I could. Oh, so you and I, like, we get into these deep conversations about like where the world's at and where it's heading, and and I remember you asking me, do you think we should have a talk with the kids about having kids?
Yeah.
And there is this fear within you about where the world's going, and knowing that we have young children.
Yeah. It is a concern.
And someone was talking about this, and I'm like, dang, like they were talking about that was a worry. That's something that came up for them. But then they realized, like, the way that they are raising their kids, and they had these 3 young girls on the stage talking about who they are.
Yeah.
And talking, and their parents, like leading by example, mom and dad. It was so beautiful. And then seeing the kids and how these kids are being raised.
That's beautiful.
To be strong, confident, like just, and they said something like, I'm not worried about the world that I'm leaving my children in when I pass.
No.
Because I'm raising some damn good kids that are going to make a difference in this world.
That's awesome.
You know, and I'm like, if we all were to live in that state and work on raising strong children.
Yes. If we were
children that are capable, children that are strong, courageous, loving, and kind.
Now, would you say that there's more people raising their, no, but you live in the same world that I do.
I do, but the room that I was full of was full of amazing parents.
Yes, you had a room full of amazing parents. How many people were at this event?
Over 250.
Oh, 250 people. How many people do we have in Arizona or in Phoenix?
I don't know.
About 5 million.
But that's the ones that.
So, do you think there are more people raising kids and families this way than not? And
I don't know.
And regardless of all of that, there are people that do that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are things that happen in the world that you cannot control. I am sure there's people that raised great kids in Israel and great kids in Palestine and great kids during the Holocaust. They didn't see shit coming. And shit happened to them. And when you look at everything that's happening in the world, yes, you can raise great kids and shit can still happen.
But it's the generation that is going to raise up.
Yeah.
Because the more of us that are becoming that, the more we can make a difference in this world.
I agree with that.
And it's not just here. It's
yeah.
Where does it all change?
Well, it all changes here.
In the home.
Yeah, in the home.
So the more people that become aware and live in this state of consciousness, the more.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's more people. Yes, in a state of there are a lot of people that are now. I think there's more people like understanding this stuff a little bit.
Yeah, you see all the time on Facebook.
But at the same,
it's
as many people as you have that are waking up to this stuff. There's a lot of people that are still getting sucked into propaganda and social media and politics and religion and all this other crap that divides everybody.
Yeah,
it's still happening. You know?
But there's also a lot of light.
Yes. The way I see it for the future, we got to raise kids that are strong.
Right.
That are tough.
Right.
That are loving.
Yes.
They got to be bad motherfuckers.
Exactly.
Down for whatever. Whatever the fuck life throws at them, I'm going to meet that shit head on.
Yeah.
They're going to have that.
Exactly.
And the way I see the world going, they're going to need it more than we did.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, when they said that, I'm like, yeah. Like, that's it. And so we have our children that we're raising, but we also have our children's friends, like our son and daughter's friends that come over.
Yeah.
That see us.
Yeah, we do influence them too.
Our children are also influencing people that they are around.
Yeah.
By leading.
I showed you this the other day. And this is a quote that is on a picture that I showed you. And it says, "You can't truly call yourself peaceful unless you're capable of violence. If you're not capable of violence, you're not peaceful. You're harmless." You know, and that is something that people need to understand. Like, sometimes people feel like it's a virtue, it's a good thing to be harmless. It's not a good thing.
Harmless.
Like, just I don't like no confrontation. Like, it's always like take the easy way. Like, you don't want to ruffle feathers or whatever. It kind of also leads to the other quote that I was telling you before. I don't know if I read this last week, but if you care about someone, you tell them the truth, or at least what you believe. Mm-hmm. If you care about yourself, you tell them what they want to hear. Mm-hmm. It's because, like, you don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers. You don't want to get anybody upset or whatever, but you have to be ready to meet the world head on. And if something's not right, to
speak up.
Call it out.
That's the only way things are going to change. Right, I agree.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So you took Audrey today.
Yeah, I took her to ASU. She had
That's awesome. She's so excited.
She had a competition at Arizona State.
Mm-hmm. For her Spanish class.
Yeah, for her Spanish class. It was a language competition, and she got first place.
Yeah, she kicked butt.
Yeah. She was so excited. So, yeah, like I said earlier, I've been away for work all week, and I got a text from her while I was at work, and she's like, "We got first place." And I was like, "I'm so proud of you." You know, and then she was like, I got back yesterday on Friday, and she was just excited telling me about it. And then today they had like an open house at one of the Arizona State campuses, and we went and checked out, the booths and all the different careers that they have, and they had like different activities that we could do, and it was a lot of fun. It was fun spending time with the kids together and messing around with the stuff.
She's saying that she wants to be a psychologist.
Yeah, and you know what? Today was actually really good because she got to see some of the different areas of psychology, like stuff that she didn't read. Like she probably thought, oh, psychology.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's also clinical psychology. There's like HR. There's people that are psychologists that work in HR. And we talked to a couple doctors there, and they were kind of giving Audrey some information. One thing that was super interesting that they said is that if you want to get, I think, like a PhD in psychology, it's free.
What?
Yeah. Like in every state, the ladies there, she's a doctor at ASU. She's a professor, and she works in something else. But because it's a STEM field, it's considered a science field, they will pay you a stipend. Like if you have your bachelor's, they pay you a stipend of like $30,000 a year to get your psychology degree. And like you teach some classes in the summer or whatever, you're a teacher's assistant or whatever, but you don't pay to get that degree.
That's interesting.
She's like, if you go to a school and they're telling you that you have to pay for it, go to a different school because you don't need to. Yeah. But it was really interesting. It was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. How was Joey?
Oh, Joey was loving it. He was having fun.
Was he?
Yeah. I was like, I wonder if he's going to like it. But yeah, he had a good time. He was, first thing he did, he's got his Rubik's Cube, and he was kind of showing it to people and challenging people with the Rubik's Cube. He's like, oh, do you know? And he's like, yeah. And then he gave it to one guy and he solved it, and yeah, it was fun. Yeah. We had a good time.
Nice. Did you do anything exciting while you were gone?
Yes. But before we get into that, make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Like I said before, the best thing that you guys can do is share this with somebody else. Let them know that the podcast exists. Share the Clips channel. When you guys go to YouTube, you can find us at Opposites Attract Podcast Clips. You can search that on any of the social medias and you'll find us. If you go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com, and you click on the Support the Show tab at the top, that'll take you to our Amazon link. Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and if you guys are picking something up off of Amazon for your significant other and you shop through our link, it gives us a little kickback and helps out the show. And another way that you can support us is
if you go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod, you can sponsor us for a drink or two, or you can subscribe to that on a monthly basis as well.
Yep, you can do that there. Yeah, so like I said, I was in California, in LA working, and I got a chance to go to Chinatown. And I have this little Bruce Lee figure that I keep
figurine.
a little figurine that I keep on my desk, and he's got he's got a big head, he's got his little nunchucks. And I happened to look up that, I don't know how I found it. I don't remember how I found it, but I found out that there was a statue of Bruce Lee in LA. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I wonder how far it is from where I'm staying. And it was about like 25 minutes. So I just took off. And a lot of times, it's kind of weird because a lot of times, when we travel together as like a company, like we're hanging out afterwards. It's like, hey, where are we going to go for dinner? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to Chinatown, And then the day before that, it's like, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to go train jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And then the day after Chinatown, it's like, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to go train jiu-jitsu. Right. So but it was awesome. So I went down to Chinatown and I found the statue of Bruce Lee, and he's got his nunchucks, and I put my little guy there. And, it's been cool because the more I learn about Bruce Lee, like the more I like the person that he was. Like the more I find out about him. Like I was watching a video the other day about like his philosophy of, or even like the saying. Actually, the watch that I have, it says it around the bezel because it's a Bruce Lee watch that Sonja got me for Christmas. It's a limited edition, and it says, "Using no way as way, using no limitation as limitation." And and what he meant was, like, especially with martial arts and even in life, when people think that everything is so rigid, maybe even like the Bible, it's like, this is how it is, you know? And he was like using no way as the way, you know? And I was watching a video about him, and then I find out that he liked to listen to Alan Watts, which is somebody that I recently started getting into. And I had no idea that he used to listen to Alan Watts, you know? So that's the one, Existence is Weird. Mm-hmm. He has that video, and yeah, it's been pretty cool. But it was nice. And then I kind of walked around Chinatown. I saw where they shot the movie Rush Hour, you know, with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I got to...
You put those pictures up, didn't you? Like on our Facebook?
No, I sent them to you. I haven't put them up yet. I'll be putting them
gotcha.
up. But man, this is something that I've really... It's probably one of... I think it's the thing that keeps everybody coming back to jiu-jitsu. Because it's, like I've said, I think I mentioned it on the last podcast. I was talking to Joey about, it was after we went to jiu-jitsu and we went to go grab something to eat. And I told him, I was like, I'll tell you, like 80% of the time, I do not feel like going. I do not feel like going and getting crushed. I do not feel like somebody's sweating on me. I mean, that's not that big of a deal anymore. That doesn't really matter. It doesn't bug me. But when you can't fucking breathe and somebody's smashing your head into the mat, like, it doesn't sound fun, and it is not fun when it's happening to you.
Yeah. When
you can't breathe, when you're out of breath and somebody's crushing your chest or whatever, your lungs. And but I go anyway. And you get to know the people there. And that, I think, is the biggest reason to keep going back. Even more than, or just as much as like the martial art itself. Mm-hmm. Because I was also telling you, like, as much as it doesn't feel good to get crushed, and even though I don't want to go 80% of the time, mm-hmm. when you choke somebody out, or when you lock up a triangle and you submit somebody, it almost outweighs all the shitty stuff that you had to go through. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, fuck, I did it, you know? Right. And then you get smoked the next one, you know? But that's how it goes. But or kind of like we were just talking about, like that negative self-talk. And then you kind of think about the positive. Like, I did put on a retreat. It was my first retreat. So stop beating yourself up about it. I had 15 people or 12 people at my retreat. You know, it was a good turnout, mm-hmm. you know, whatever. And that's kind of like that. It's like, you don't feel like going, you don't want to get fucking crushed. And then you hit something on somebody, or even you just sweep somebody. You don't have to tap them out, but maybe you didn't get tapped out this time. Maybe they're crushing you all the time, and now you survived a little while. That is like the positive side of it. Right.
That's what brings, that's where joy exists. Doing the thing, even though you didn't feel like doing the thing, but you push yourself to do it, and it feels great because you know that you did it.
Yeah. And then aside from that is the people that you meet, mm-hmm. you know? Yeah. Like, dude, this last time that I was, and I've had this feeling in Connecticut when I go train at Gonzalez Grappling, and this time at Logic Jiu-Jitsu in California, and like, I've met people there, mm-hmm. dude. And there's one guy, I was rolling with this other blue belt, and he was fucking me up. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we got done, I go sit down on the chair, and I'm talking to my friend Raj that I met like a year ago, last few times that I've been there. And he's like one of the only people that I text there. And he's like, when you're in town, hit me up, you know, and I go, and I'm sitting down and we're talking. And the other guy, Andy, that I just got done rolling with, that was beating me up, he was like, hey, he's like, can I show you something? And I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, let's go. You know, and I go, and he's like, all right, you need to do this. Like, he's like, you were doing this, mm-hmm. which kind of sets you up for what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. He's like, this is what you should do. And I'm like, okay. But like, it's just awesome, you know, like making connections like that. Yeah. So that part, you know, that's been one of my favorite parts about this thing.
Building the community within the jiu-jitsu arena. Yeah. We were talking about that today, the importance of community.
Yeah.
And it was Amy Hardison who was talking about that. And she was talking about building that community. Like, it doesn't matter where you build it, but the importance of building it.
Yeah.
And they have a really big family. And she said that what they did was they bought shares. What is it called?
Shares, like shares you sit on?
No, like where you vacation. Like, what are they?
A timeshare.
Timeshare. Yeah. So her and
Timeshares.
her daughters, like they bought timeshares right next to each other. And
Yeah.
so as a family, they go to this timeshare in California, and it's something that they do regularly as a family.
Yeah.
And she was saying, if you don't have that large of a family, find that community. And I remember, just like praying for that tribe, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling them, I thought that that my tribe was going to be the church.
Yeah.
And it didn't turn out to be that for me. And with this being movement, with the ultimate coach, and the mission that we are all on to help raise consciousness,
Yeah.
I finally found my tribe.
Yeah.
And being around so many individuals that are on the same mission, and seeing how it spreads from that room, or spreading from like outside that room, by all of us just coming together and being who we are and doing what we have to do in order to raise consciousness.
Yeah.
And it's like, I finally found my tribe.
Yeah. You got to get out there. You got to get out there and do it. That reminds me of something that I came across this week while I was away. And there was a video on YouTube that I sent to my friend, Chris Howard from jiu-jitsu. He was on my last podcast on Fighting for Your Life. He's got a nonprofit called Veterans Breakthrough, where he's putting on a jiu-jitsu tournament. But the purpose of his nonprofit, Veterans Breakthrough, is that when a veteran gets out of the military, like when you're in the military, you don't have any issues with community. You're in a community.
Right.
Like, we are brothers in the military. Mm-hmm. Like, you've seen it from friends that I've only spent 6 months together in the military, and we are friends for life. Mm-hmm. We could not talk for years, and when we talk, it's like the last time we talked, And when you get out of that, like, you feel like you lose everything. You literally lose everything. Mm-hmm. Your identity is so wrapped up in part of your uniform, the people that you're with. I mean, because if you think about it, we all came from all different parts of the country as kids. Literally as kids. We're all freaking kids. And we all get sent to one place together. Mm-hmm. So we are all we got. So you bond. And when you get out, it's hard to make connections like that again, unless you're going out and doing stuff. And I found this video. It's on YouTube. It's from PBS NewsHour, and it's titled "Why a Growing Number of American Men Say They Are in a Friendship Recession." And it's just that people just don't have friends like that anymore. And it reminded me of what my friend is doing with Veterans Breakthrough, because that's what he's trying to build, like, for veterans that get out, like giving them that community again of people. And like you said, and when we were talking about it on my other podcast, Fighting for Your Life, it was like jiu-jitsu has a big part of that. Is that community of coming together. Like, we're people from all different, like, we got doctors, we got people from all over that do all different kinds of stuff, but we're all there doing the same thing. And we have a bond, a connection, and it's like you found the same thing, with your group, but you have to get out there, just like the first time I went out to jiu-jitsu, that shit was scary. Like, it's weird just going out there with a bunch of people that you don't know. Just like for you, I'm sure you just go out to a brand new group of people and it's just like, and then eventually you just kind of get into it. It's like, you start talking. Maybe not for you because that's what you love.
I'm
but
like, wait,
for most other people, it's like, but you just got to give it a shot. I mean, what is the worst that could happen? Right? You're not going to die.
And it's important for us to help our children build that, and I know Joey is, I don't know if he has any close relationships in jiu-jitsu, but I was just thinking about like sports, creating that. I think it's important for him to have that.
Teams.
And that might be something that's missing that might help him. Because I don't think he has that community at jiu-jitsu. He doesn't have
He's got some friends, but not like that. Well,
right.
Yeah, it's a little different.
So
guess.
Hopefully when he starts wrestling.
Yeah. When he starts wrestling.
If that's something he wants to do, that he will build that within that team that he's going to join.
Yeah.
Because I think that would help him.
Or Rubik's Cubes. Or like whatever you're into, just get out there and find a group of people that are into that.
Right.
You could find that. I mean, we have our nephew that he's kind of got a community with friends online.
Yes. Yeah.
And they all talk to each other. And I don't know if it's, I think a lot of times, maybe, because I could see this happening. Like, you have these thoughts of doing these things, but instead of doing those things, you numb yourself in a different way. Like, because you just, maybe it's scary for you, or you've never done it. You're going to go meet strangers. And if you sit with yourself, then you're just kind of like, And then if you're just kind of sitting there and you can't sit with yourself, then what do? Maybe you start drinking, or you find a different way to numb yourself.
Right. Yeah.
But you got to take that chance.
And if you don't have it, you can build it. That's something we were also talking about.
What do you mean?
Like if you don't have that community, say you love to read books, start a book club.
Fucking go to Barnes and Nobles and read a book. There's other people there that love books. You don't have to buy them.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like if you don't have that community, create it. We were talking about that because it's so funny. At this event, everybody was asking me, so are you speaking? Are you going to be on stage?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I had at least 4 people asking me that. Are you going to be on stage? Cool. I'm like, not yet.
That's right.
But I will be.
Not yet.
And if it's not on this stage, then I'm going to create it.
Yeah.
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 It's like whatever.
That's a different mindset. That's a different mindset. And you got to get it. I don't know how else to say it. But when you said not yet, and if I don't get on the stage,
like on this stage,
if I don't get on this stage,
community,
I'm going to build the stage.
I'm going to create it.
And I'm going to get on it.
Right. Yeah. Like I'm going to build that community. And I'm going to be on stage and bring others to speak on stage.
Like, why not? Why not? Why does somebody have to build a stage for you? Build your own damn stage if you have to.
Right.
That's part of kind of like what we were talking about before, is that thing that we have to instill in the kids for the future.
Yeah. For
the challenges that come up. It's like, whatever happens, I'm down for whatever. And you know what? I'm not going to wait for opportunities. I'm going to make opportunities.
Yes.
I'm making opportunities for myself.
Right. I heard someone say something about one of the coaches, and that he creates possibilities for his clients. And I thought about that, and I'm like, that's amazing. Because not only are you coaching them, you're creating the opportunity for them. And if you have those connections, which I have, like I know a lot of people, right? Like I know a lot of people. So if someone comes to me or, I have a client who's like, oh, I'm wanting to start a mobile notary agency and I don't know how to go about doing it and blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, I know somebody. Yeah. I mean, I did it personally, but just saying I didn't, I would be like, oh, I know somebody and making that connection.
Right.
But allowing them to take the step to open that door. Like I make the connection. This is, Bill Soroka, here's his book.
Yeah.
If you're serious about, here's his phone number. I just called him. He's waiting for your call.
And what is it about people that makes them not make that call? Because there's so many people that will get an opportunity and not make the call. There's so many people that will ask a celebrity for a podcast or somebody, hey, let's do something. And they will never get that. They will never, they already said yes and they wouldn't even send it.
Yeah. It's their limited belief, the doubt that they have within themselves. But there's something there. If they're not moving, it's because there's a limited belief that's preventing them from making that call. Do you understand?
Yeah. How do you
overcome that?
How do you overcome that?
By hiring me.
480-331-9846. Hit us up and you can hire Sonja. We'll give you a discount since you guys know the podcast. No,
I mean, you know that because you've also have overcome like some limited beliefs. I mean, I've overcome many limited beliefs that I had of myself.
Yeah.
But it's doing the work. It's recognize. It's being curious about the pain. Why I have the phone number. Why is it so hard for me to pick up this phone? Why? Where is this fear coming? Like you have to identify the emotion first and then ask yourself, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Why am I feeling this way? What happened to me that created this fear within me or this lack of belief within me?
Yeah.
There's a process to it. There's a process to it.
This just I think I don't know.
But instead of running from the pain, you run to the pain. You become curious about it.
The more and I can tell you from experience, the more you do that, the easier it gets to continue doing it. It's not that you don't feel it anymore, because I still feel it. Mm-hmm. I still feel it when I get an opportunity. But now that I remember, where I think part of it comes from is a lot of people feel that they're less than. Mm-hmm. Whatever this opportunity is too big for them. Mm-hmm. Or whoever this person is, they're better than them. Whether they're older and you're young, mm-hmm. whether they have money and you don't. Because that was another thing. Like when we were in the business that we met in Legal Shield, and it was a sales business and we're going out talking to people. At that time, I was like, what, fucking 22, 23 or some shit. I was young and I'm trying to fucking do business. He's like, get the fuck out of here, kid. Doing business, but I was like, why not? And then you could see that there was other young people doing business, like making money. Mm-hmm. So you will still have that scary feeling, mm-hmm. but the more you lean into it, mm-hmm. the easier it becomes. Like, I've been here before.
Right.
Yes, I'm scared again.
Yes.
Let's go.
That's the awareness.
And I remember one time that I haven't thought about this in forever. When I was in that business, I got somebody's card. It was like a fucking loan company. And at that time, it was like, it was right before the real estate market crashed. So loan people were making shit tons of money. And for us, selling legal services and stuff like that, we had a good opportunity. And I remember being a fucking kid, going into one of the fucking skyscrapers downtown to go meet with some executive in his office, and I took somebody with me. And at a certain, I was like, "What the fuck am I doing in here?" You know?
Yeah.
And I remember, I will never forget the way, like, we walked in and this dude was on the phone, and I will never forget what he said to that person on the phone. And I was like, "What a piece of shit." He must have said, "How are you doing?" And the guy said, "Better than you." That was his response over the phone. And I was like, "Wow, you are a piece of shit." You know, I was like, "Damn, how could you say," you know? But anyway, like, I remember having that feeling, but it happens all the time. I was at jiu-jitsu in California, and I'm looking down while I'm stretching, like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, I don't need to be here, like, getting ready to get beat up again. You know what I mean? I'm looking at my pants, fucking stretching. I'm like, I'm about to get fucking smashed again. Like, I don't need to do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's too late. I'm already here.
Yeah.
And that's always what it is. It's like, it's too late. I'm already here. Like, I'm already in the building with this guy.
It's the mental endurance. It's like getting in a cold plunge.
Yeah.
And it's 38 degrees outside, you know, and you're in and you just got out of the sauna and you're in a freaking bikini, 38 degrees, about to torture yourself, fucking jumping in the pool, you know?
Mm-hmm. If you guys want to do a cold plunge, go to Rejuve Gen in Chandler.
I don't allow myself. I'm just like, get your fucking, like, I don't even let that thought even linger because I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, being that aware now that I hear like a instant, like I hear it and I just shut it off.
Yeah.
That's it. And the more you become aware, you're taking massive action, so you don't even allow the fear or the doubt to kick in because you just take fucking massive action as soon as you feel, because it's a feeling. There's a thought, and then there's a feeling that comes right after that. And as soon as I see it going there, I'm just like taking massive action. Get in. Like, I'm in. Because the more time that you allow yourself to think.
Yeah.
And then the thought turned into that emotion, and now you're festering in this emotion.
That anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the moment you decide to step back and not get into the pool. That's the moment you don't build the retreat.
Yeah. You see,
that's the moment
I get
you don't
that.
take that chance.
I get that. I think I told you about, like, I get that before every set of pull-ups. I'm like, I don't want to do it. Ooh. And then before I know, I'm hanging off the bar. Yeah. And then I'm like 3 pull-ups in and I was like, fuck, I guess we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, but when it comes to opportunities and feeling like you're less than and all that kind of stuff, I think another thing that has helped me is like understanding who I am.
Yes.
And,
that's huge.
And understanding who we are as people.
And that we are unlimited beings.
And that it's kind of like what we were talking about, like that moment when I was driving and I was like, life can't get any better than this. And the Lamborghini goes by. And I'm like, life still can't get any better than this.
Right.
Lamborghini, no Lamborghini. Life doesn't get any better than this. And when you understand life that way, there is nobody that can stand in front of you that is too big.
Right.
Because we're all the same. And if you think you're bigger than me, then you're mistaken. Like, you're pretty powerful too. But so am I. You know?
Right.
And that goes for everybody.
Right. Yeah, no, there's...
So when you see things that way,
right,
there's also the, why not me? Why not me? Why don't I fucking hit that guy up? The celebrity. Why the fuck wouldn't he talk to me?
No, he's just like you.
He is just like me.
He is you.
Right?
Yeah.
And maybe they do, maybe they don't. Like, whatever. It is what it is.
Right. It's realizing that you are we are capable of doing some extraordinary things when you step into the I am.
Yeah.
As God is, I am. As God is a creator, I am. As God is, I am. You are, we are. And stepping into that. Like, that's what helps me. That's what helped me create that retreat, was getting into that mindset that I am God.
Yeah.
I know some people are going to be like, what the hell? But
You're the creator.
I am the creator. And then I take myself through my life. And I realize that I created our relationship by who I was being. And I start looking around this house, and I realize that I created this house to be a home. And that where I am today, I created this business by all the obstacles and challenges in my past businesses and who I had to become in order to be who I am today. I had to go through all those hurdles. I had to go through all those setbacks.
And it also doesn't mean that there won't be more. Because a lot of times people think that it's like, oh, when you get it together, then you're good. And it's like, yeah, you're good, but life is always changing. There's always challenges.
It's constant. It's, constant growth.
And you were saying about the I am. You had sent me a video with Steve Hardison and our friend BNS that we had a podcast with. Great podcast. You guys can go back and check it out. But BNS asked Steve Hardison, he's like, who are you? And Steve said, I am not my name. My name was given to me by my parents.
Yes.
And when you really sit and think about that, even your name is just a label.
Right.
Like that, it's a bunch of sounds that make up something that people call you. But that is still not you. You are way more than just that.
Right. But it's recognizing that. And the only way to get to that point is releasing the stories of your past and releasing the brainwashing.
I like it.
Conditioning.
Brainwashing.
And realizing who the fuck you are. And once you realize that, you're unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get around people that see you. Not that you need their validation, because you already know who you are, but you get around people that see you.
Yeah.
And then they just being around them and knowing what they're doing. And it's just this beautiful dance of, like, we are creators, and what we're creating is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And just locking arms. And when you have people like that believe in you, and you already believe in yourself, but you have these people around you that really see you and believe in you and, hey, tell you whatever it is you need, you call me. I got a lot of that today. Like,
yeah,
you just say the word.
That's awesome.
And people that are up there, like coaches that are really doing it, that have been doing it for a while. They're like, I want to create with you if you're open. I'm like, of course.
And the only way that you can be that way is if you have the mindset that it's not a pie. It's a bakery. It's not a pie that we're sharing. We're baking pies here.
Right.
We're making pies for everybody.
Right.
There's enough pies for everybody to go around.
Right.
It's not like we have to share this one pie.
Right.
Because that's a limiting thought. There's only this
Right.
much. It's scarcity. It's
Right.
like, no, there's enough for everybody.
Yeah.
And let's do, like, I've made it happen for me. Let's make it happen for you. Like, I see what you're doing. You're only a few steps behind me. Let me show you how I did it.
Right.
You know?
And when you are that person, that's the part of being. That's the part of being that I was talking about. It's that.
Yeah.
Like, I've been that person for so many,
Yeah.
right? And now it's time for me to receive, and I see it.
Yeah.
It's happening. And me being okay to receive, because I'm so used to giving, but now it's my time to receive, and being okay with receiving and giving myself permission to receive and to be and to do and to visualize, to have that vision. That vision is really big. Like, it's global. And I recognize that. And before, I didn't give myself permission to be that, because I thought I had to choose between my family and that, you guys and that, and I don't. It's not a. I said it before. It's not it's not an or. It's an and. It's us. Like, it's an and. And once I realized that, and I said okay, and I fully stepped into that, that's when everything just started to open, like within me, but also people started to recognize that in me. And that's when I started attracting these people.
It's kind of like when we were talking about when we were going to that party, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's like, it's funny that when we see things this way and we understand things this way, things start happening. Like, it's not a coincidence that we're headed to this place, right?
Right.
You know? Yeah. There was something, before we get out of here, there was a post that I saw on Instagram from somebody, and they put something like, this was directed towards men, but it was like, leave advice. It's kind of like, if you're of a certain age or whatever, if you've been around, like, or maybe it was just like, leave some words of advice for other men in the comments. And I thought about it. I was like, what would I, like, if I was to give somebody and like a random ass person that I don't know advice, like, what would I tell them? And I haven't wrote it, but maybe I should go back and post this. But my first thought was, find a way to get out in nature. Like, even if it's just by yourself, like, just get out in nature. Yeah, maybe by yourself. Like, maybe you can go with your family or whatever. But even when you're out with your family, like, there are moments where you're just kind of out there. You're not talking. You're not doing anything. You're standing around. You're looking around.
Yeah.
I was like, and if I could give anybody advice, it would be, get out in nature more and maybe contemplate some things. Like, contemplate life. Try to understand what life is about. What is real and what isn't. What is important and what isn't. You know? And I think there's a lot of, it's almost like, I don't know if it's not really meditation or anything, but it's reflection. It's.
That's what you do when you meditate.
I thought meditating, you're clearing your mind.
Well, there's different kinds of meditation. But yes, go ahead.
But that was just kind of what I was thinking, is like, just get out there and like, just think about certain things. Like, yeah, what is real and what isn't? Because like I've mentioned the last, I don't know how long, we get brainwashed in so many different ways. Like, what is real and what is not? What is important? What is not?
Right.
What is the meaning of life? What is my purpose?
That would help fathers to come back home.
Yeah.
To think, to contemplate, to see what's really real and what's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I saw a lot today. I mean, just everyone there that were parents, fathers, mothers, and listening to them, and the dads when they would speak about the importance of being a present father and creating those boundaries around their businesses or their careers. Like JP Morgan was there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And he was talking about the importance of that. Him and I got into a really good conversation about, because his wife had a miscarriage, but I didn't know that. But I was talking to him. I had met him. We were online together for lunch. And I started talking to him about family, like us. He asked me, how many kids do we have? And I said, we have 4. I said, we have 1 in heaven. I have an 18-year-old that's a bonus daughter. We have a 14-year-old and 12-year-old. And then he started asking me about, the miscarriage, because his wife, he started to share his experience with that with me. And I had shared with him the experience that I had at a Lokes event, meeting her, like feeling her. And he's like, thanks for sharing that with me, because I feel that this is something that I need to share with my wife.
Yeah.
Because before that event, I don't think I even thought about losing that baby. I think it was about, 15 years? Because we had Audrey shortly after.
Right.
Yeah. But he was talking about like the importance of being a present father.
Yeah.
That in itself would change the world. If we can get our dads to become more present.
Yeah. Yeah. Last week we had talked about, maybe a couple weeks ago, how we had projected on Joey him being angry.
Mm-hmm.
And today I had an opportunity, and I didn't even really think about it, but I thought about it after. There was something that he said, something that he did, and I got the chance to tell him, like, dude, you're super smart. Like, that, right? Like, you're a super smart kid.
Yeah.
Like, genius level smart, dude. And, we got to do more of that. And that's part of that, being present as a father, with the kids.
Yeah. With your wife, with your significant other, with just, That's the being that I was talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
And from the being, the doing comes.
Yeah.
Actually, they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. I'm not having success in my coaching business like when people look at it, they're like, you just started that business and you got 2 more clients already this year, brand new. Like brand new client, yes. And you have a retreat, yes. And you're having another one, yes.
Yeah, you're doing.
But I've been networking since 2006. I've been building these relationships. I've been being a good person.
Yeah.
Right? Like people, if I was not.
That's why you don't always know the story when something takes off. It's like, oh, wow, she just started. Like if somebody gets into coaching and they see you, and it's like, oh, wow, she's already got clients and I'm like struggling to, it's like, well, you have no clue.
Yeah. And I've been in sales.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that went into this.
Right.
You know?
That prepared me for exactly where I am today. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to check, who are you being? What type of person? Like, how are you showing up? Are you authentic? You know, are you a person of your word?
Are you being the person that, because a lot of people think, like a lot of people want to be in a certain crowd. Like they know that this is a good crowd to be around. Mm-hmm. But are you being the person that would be allowed into that crowd? Because not just everybody is like, yeah. Sometimes
not allowed. It's more like of a invitation, right? Like
somebody that would be invited.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, allowed too, because I'm sure that people that have a community are down to protect that community.
Right.
Against outsiders that might want to, that maybe can bring them down.
Right.
Right? So who are you being?
Dude, I was sitting down all day today. My butt's going numb.
And with that, now that our butts fell asleep, make sure you guys...
I keep shifting.
You can't feel your cheeks no more? I'll feel them for you.
Please. I need you to massage them.
Make sure... Damn the freaking pot.
People are like, what's up with Sonja? If you're watching this, I'm like shifting from one cheek to the next. I'm like,
And with that, make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Like I said before, the best thing you can do is share this with somebody else. You guys can follow us on all of our social media at Opposite Pod. Give us a call, 480-331-9846. Leave us a message. Send us a question. You can be anonymous if you want.
Thank you guys for your love. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching Opposites Attract Podcast.
Where we get better
together. Bye.